Good, happy Sunday afternoon, everyone. January 6th, 2019. And welcome to your first edition of your 2019 edition of Politics with Riley King. Let's begin. First up, hundreds of Papist supporters gather in Manchester for ceremonial swearing in. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Jessica Moran.
Congressman Pappas greeted with a strong ovation Saturday morning at his alma mater. The small room quickly filled with people to watch his hometown version of a swearing-in ceremony.
Serving as your member of Congress wouldn't be official for me until I took that oath before all of you here today.
The ceremony featured plenty of local touches. Manchester Police and Fire presented the colors. A local Girl Scout troop led the crowd in the Pledge of Allegiance. The New Hampshire Gay Men's Chorus sang the national anthem. At the twilight's last gleaming. And Manchester Mayor Joyce Craig swore in the congressman.
The duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Congressman.
Pappas then addressed the crowd and acknowledged his path through Manchester and Central High.
I'm going from a kid that was wandering the halls of Central High School to a representative who's working for you in the halls of Congress, and I couldn't be more honored to take that title and to fight for you each and every day.
Among the items Pappas addressed was the current government shutdown.
And while the government today may be shut down, I'm here to tell you that the 1st District in New Hampshire is open for business.
Pappas says his immediate focus is ending the government shutdown, and he reconfirmed he will not take a paycheck until the government is reopened. In Manchester, Jessica Moran, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Sununu calls for changes in bail reform law. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
A Conway school aide charged with crimes related to child sex abuse images who was released on personal recognizance bail has Governor Chris Sununu calling for changes to the bail reform law he signed last year.
We have to really take a look at it again. I had a lot of concerns with it going forward.
Last fall, a special commission struggled to find consensus over how to address the rocky rollout of bail reform and its uneven consequences across the justice system. In November, the bill's prime sponsor, Senator Dan Feltes, said action of some kind would be taken.
I anticipate bipartisan cooperation on some common sense tweaks.
Senator Jeb Bradley has one bill that will reduce the evidentiary standard for pretrial detention, making it easier to hold dangerous offenders. Senator Martha Hennessy has another we are told would allow judges to consider more factors in terms of determining dangerousness. Either way, the governor says the current law cannot stand.
Absolutely, it has to be revisited. We have to close these loopholes and make sure we understand the true impacts of the legislation and how it is potentially either letting people out or simply just not working for the system. So I very much encourage the legislature to come back, work with us, and try to close these loopholes and find just a better solution for the state.
In response, the New Hampshire Association of Chiefs of Police tells News 9, quote, "We're encouraged to hear the governor's words. We've had concerns with this legislation since it passed. It was filed with good intent, but we've seen unintended consequences." And tonight, Majority Leader Feltes released a statement endorsing changes to the law, but urged support only for the bill being put forward by Democrats, saying, quote, "We want to ensure no one who may cause additional harm to themselves or the public is released into their communities before trial. We hope Governor Sununu and our Republican colleagues join us in this effort." Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire primary source, Buckley blast potential presidential candidate Inslee for bordering New Hampshire in governor's race. Plans by Washington Governor Jay Inslee, the former chairman for the Democratic Governors Association, to head to New Hampshire later this month is a likely 2020 presidential candidate, has drawn the attention of New Hampshire Democratic Party Chairman Raymond Buckley, and not in a good way. I look forward to hearing from Governor Inslee his reason for abandoning New Hampshire in 2018 as chair of the DGA, Buckley told WMUR on Thursday. We first reported Buckley's comments on Twitter. It was highly unusual for a party chairman to criticize a candidate or likely future candidate in the state's leadoff presidential primary. Sununu calls for bipartisanship, unveils college tuition program in inaugural address. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
As a Republican chief executive with a newly Democratic legislature, Governor Chris Sununu is looking to strike a bipartisan balance in his second term. In his inaugural address, he quoted from popular literature.
A very smart man once said, "It is our choices that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities." And that quote really rings with me. That wise man, I'm not going to lie to you, was Dumbledore from the Harry Potter series.
Sununu's choices for his second term include a new study on pediatric cancer in New Hampshire, $24 million in workforce investment, and an overhaul of the state's foster care system, all while holding the line on taxes. The governor also unveiled a proposal for a tuition-free year of community college for in-state high schoolers.
Working with our community college system's existing funds, our students can now take advantage of an optional fifth year of high school. That will enable them to receive a high school diploma and a certificate and a college associate's degree free of cost to the student.
Democrats say they're ready to work with the governor on key issues.
The governor had a lot of points that we do agree with. For example, opioid crisis, dealing with mental health.
We're all here to do the business of the people of New Hampshire and make sure that we provide economic opportunities.
Republican leaders were encouraged to hear the governor is intent on protecting business tax cuts.
And I think that came through loud and clear, too.
Many of the details behind these proposals will be fleshed out in the governor's budget address next month. You can find much more on the inauguration from myself and WMUR political reporter John DeStaso on WMUR.com. Reporting live at the State House in Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire state reps make sexual harassment prevention training mandatory for members. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
State representatives also underwent sexual harassment prevention training yesterday, just hours after making the sessions mandatory. The trainings drew added attention in 2017 when it came to light that several reps in both parties had not attended nor signed a document stating that they had read the House sexual harassment policy. This year's training was much more widely attended than last year's.
We should lead the way for our state in shining a spotlight on what is harassing behavior and condemning it. We should do so proudly, and we should welcome the opportunity.
Leaders say they plan to hold additional trainings to make sure that everyone has a chance to attend.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Trump can declare national emergency, House Armed Service Committee Chair says. House Armed Service Chair Committee Rep. Adam Smith, Democrat of Washington, said President Donald Trump does have the authority to call a national emergency over border security, but is wide open to facing a court challenge. And that did it for this edition of Politics with Riley King. I hope you all enjoyed this edition of Politics with Riley King. And I'll see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics with Riley King. And have a great week, everyone. Goodbye.